What are you hearing about the level of interest in Kaepernick as of now?
Well, this one's tricky, Ryan, because we can continue to hear that teams are interested, that a coach is willing to sign him, that Mark Davis, the owner of the Raiders, has told his coaches and GMs that they can sign Kaepernick. He said that for years now. Anthony Lynn says that Colin Kaepernick fits his offense and would have him on a list of quarterbacks to bring in and work out, yet nobody has done that yet. So it's a little bit difficult to try to take the voices of those saying that they would be interested in signing Kaepernick and applying it to the actual execution of doing so. We haven't seen that yet. So while, yes, it seems like there are people who are more quote-unquote comfortable with the prospect right now, they still haven't done it. One point I would make here, Ryan, is that I was speaking with a couple of people recently in NFL circles, and they actually pointed out to me something about this. If a team is actually still using the excuse that it would be a distraction to sign Colin Kaepernick, there is actually no better time than right now to do so. You conduct interviews through Zoom calls. People aren't even allowed in the facility. Everything is very controlled. So the idea that Kaepernick would be a distraction to a team right now, quite honestly, just isn't the case.
All right, so everybody's saying the words of maybe we'll sign him, but nobody actually doing it at this point or making that move. Dan, I got to ask, how big of a deal would it be for a team to sign Kaepernick right now?
Oh, it'd be enormous. It would be a great sign for the NFL and its leadership to, I don't know if it's admit that they should have done something differently in the past. But, Ryan, I was reading All Pro Dad this morning, and there's a quote in it that I wanted to share because I think it's really pertinent to this situation. It said, "Our bad choices in the past do not disqualify us from disagreeing with and opposing those choices now." And I think it's like the NFL and the owners and the commissioner can look back and go, maybe we should have done something different. But now we can make that choice right and give Colin Kaepernick the opportunity to come be a part of the NFL again. And I think that's a really big deal. Football-wise, I think it's irresponsible if a team doesn't sign Colin Kaepernick. We've talked about at great lengths about the coronavirus and how its impact could be seen on the football field. You better have 3 quarterbacks this year because more than likely you're going to have to use them. And Colin Kaepernick is obviously one of the best 90 people on the planet at playing quarterback. So I just think it's a really good opportunity for the NFL to make a decision right, and also for a football team to become much better with him on your roster.
If he's not one of those 3 on a team going into the season, I would be absolutely stunned. Domonique, where do you see the best fits are for Kaepernick?
I think Pittsburgh is the best place, but I'm stunned that you'd be stunned. I don't expect them to sign him because I understand all the logic that Dan laid out. But I don't understand why any of these teams would want to sign up for, while it may not be a time for some sort of major media circus, I can't imagine teams who are afraid to sign him before would sign him now so that he could be their 3rd quarterback. And you know how coaches are about control and distractions, which is part of the reason why I said Pittsburgh. That's a stable organization with a very good head coach in an organization that I think has put themselves, as far as NFL teams are concerned, they've put themselves on the more liberal side. So I think that would be a team and a city that is comfortable with that, with taking that risk, and a coach who can handle that, and a locker room that's strong enough to support him. And from a play standpoint, he does, I think, fit in well behind Ben Roethlisberger. A team with a very good defense could really benefit from having a backup quarterback who is ready to step in should the older Ben Roethlisberger get injured, and a backup quarterback who has some athletic running ability. I think that fits well with the defense and the talent that they have in Pittsburgh.
But Dom, I have to ask you, this is a time, the previous years are different. This is a very unique time in history. Don't you think teams would look at it and say, hey, the way Colin Kaepernick is viewed by so many in this country has changed so rapidly, he's just perceived so differently now, that now, if we want him, we need another quality quarterback. Now is the time we can sign him and really match what society's doing.
I think you're right. I think right now is the best time, a better time than the past, but that's assuming that the owners are neutral. I'm not sure that the owners are neutral. I think so many of them, most of them, did not like what he did. So aside from the fact that they hid behind some lies about it affecting ratings or it upsetting fans, I think that fundamentally, many of them did not like him or like what he did or didn't like him because of what he did. And I don't think many of them have changed their mind on that. While they won't come out and speak about a number of things, I certainly don't think they're going to put their names behind the fact that maybe they just were annoyed by Colin Kaepernick, because there is no other explanation, because you're right. The public would be on your side at this point if you bring him in. So if they don't bring him in, I don't know what you could say about it. We all agree that he's good enough to be at least the backup in this league.
Mike, do you think he'll be signed?
I'm hopeful, and I agree with what Dan said. He is clearly one of the 96 best quarterbacks on the planet. And I think the key, Ryan, is organizational alignment. I was with the Jets when we acquired Brett Favre, Tim Tebow. These are huge moments that could overrun and overwhelm an organization. And I think the best time to sign Colin Kaepernick, I agree with what the guy said, is right now. Bring him in, embrace him, talk about goals on the field, off the field. You could assess where his conditioning is. And then this way, when we get to the season, it's all about football. And again, you look at a team like Jacksonville, if he's not the best guy in that quarterback room, he's certainly the second best. So he should be signed. I hope he'll be signed. If there's ever a time and a place between what's going on in our country with COVID, it's all lining up, and let's hope he's back in the league.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.